A year ago, I had an operation in Russia. Anyone who plays active sports knows what a collarbone fracture is. It's a regular story. Accordingly, a year later I was told that I needed to remove the metal plate from my clavicle. And I was faced with the question, how to do it? I am already in Japan, how much it costs here, what are the complications? All in all, many questions when going to a medical facility overseas. I can say that I have dealt with everything, and I will tell you now how it was. In fact, everything is very simple and even not expensive, unlike, for example, in Indonesia, Bali, where medical insurance must pay for everything. But if there are any complications, it is very expensive. It can cost tens of thousands of dollars. No, in Japan, in fact, medicine is available to everyone. To begin with, I'd like to tell you how medicine is organized in Japan. How the bill is paid. There are different categories of people who are billed. That is, different categories of people are billed differently for the same operation. The first is people who are almost tax exempt. They pay the bare minimum. For example, housewives and so on. They have a maximum payment of 36,000 yen. So for example, if a hospital bills 400,000 yen, the housewife pays 36,000 yen and the rest is covered by the insurance company. That's roughly the approach. Then there is the category of students and in general all those who receive a small income. They already have a maximum amount of about 60,000 yen. And the rest is paid by the state, insurance. The next categories go upwards, it all depends on how much tax you paid last year. If you have a good income, you paid a lot of taxes, then you can pay for most of the treatment. That's the approach. It's actually a very good approach, because I think that in this way everyone can get medical care for themselves. After all, if you have a good income, you can pay more for treatment. At the same time, if you can barely make ends meet, you need surgery, treatment, so that you do not die on the street, you can really apply to the hospital and the state will help you. Next I will tell you how to get this health insurance certificate, with which we go to the hospital. When we come to Japan, for example, as I am a language school student, I have a student visa. At that point we go to Kuyakusho, get a residence permit and other documents. I told you about this separately. One of them is a health insurance certificate. It looks like a bank card. What do we need to do? We go to Kuyakusho, in the appropriate department we fill out a form, submit it, nothing else is required. In about a month we will receive this insurance certificate in the mail in the mailbox. Before that, we will be given an A4 sheet, which we can also apply to the hospital with, and they will accept it. Everyone understands that this is a temporary certificate. The next moment is when we receive the insurance certificate itself. We take it with us and carry it along with our documents. If it is necessary to go to the hospital, we take the resident card and the insurance certificate card. We give these two documents to the hospital when we go to the hospital. That's basically it. That's how we got this insurance certificate. But there are nuances. Here's the thing. I told you that there are categories. For some reason, they gave me the wrong category. They put it as the highest, as if I pay the most taxes. They charged me almost 300,000 yen to pay for my surgery. Of course, it was a mistake. In Japan, they told me right away that there was some mistake. Please contact them, they will probably recalculate it for you. What we do in this case, we go to Kuyakusho again, show our insurance certificate. The hospital will give you a referral for the documents you need to take. It will be a statement that shows what category of citizens you belong to. Accordingly, you will be billed as much as possible for your category. For example, for students it will cost in the neighborhood of 60,000 yen. We go to Kuyakusho, ask to determine this category, we for one day give this document back and with it we already go to the hospital. So, you will not be billed more than this amount. I.e. no more than 57,000 yen to be exact. But there are some additional fees. For example, for a comfortable room, for food, and some other small things. This is considered over and above the bill. But the amount is about a few thousand yen. That is, it is not tangible at all, you cannot worry. The insurance company takes care of the main medical expenses. So we take this statement and don't worry about anything else. That's what happened in my case. The first time I was billed for 300,000 yen, then when I realized that it can be done, I made a statement in Kuyakusho and I was billed for about 60,000 yen. Now the specific sequence of actions. Let's say I have a problem that I need to take the plate out. What to do? In Japan there are hospitals and very many private clinics, so just in the translator we write the specialty of the doctor we need, in this case, surgeon. Next we can enter this into Google Map and see all the clinics where the surgeon accepts. There are also websites in Japan where you can look this up. But, frankly speaking, I did not really like to use them, because there are sets of doctors, but there are no reviews, it is not clear where they are located among other things. So through Google Map in my experience it will be much easier to find the clinic you need. Then we find a private clinic, we look at the reviews. Most of the time the reviews are good. The bad reviews that I have come across are of the category of they did not pay proper attention, did not listen. I don't really take that kind of thing. I found a clinic that I liked. I go there during opening hours, I say that I need a consultation, surgery. They register me at that clinic, ask for insurance or resident card, and ask me to wait afterward. Then the surgeon called me in, asked me to get an X-ray. The surgeon and in principle all the doctors speak English, but it happens that they can't be heard well because of the accent and sometimes you can't understand what they are talking about. But these are all smart people and most likely they will offer you some sort of translator. The interpreter will be in a conversation format. That is, you will definitely find some kind of communication. There will be no difficulty here. You will talk, in this case I told you what I had, plus I had pictures. I showed everything that was necessary, they took me to get another X-ray. And after that, they asked when they could do the surgery, when I would be available. I was given days to choose from, I chose days when I was free from school. And thus began my treatment, my preparation for the surgery. There were several steps that followed. The first was that I was asked to take tests. After I went to this private clinic, everything further took place in the city hospital. My surgeon said that he would see me there, that I would have to take all the tests there, and that I would be hospitalized there. In the private clinic I will go for dressings, just for consultations and checkups. The second thing is that I was given a memo on what dates and what I would need to do. On one day I went to the city hospital and took all the tests at once. They did another X-ray, took blood, and so on, everything according to the list. They took everything on the list and I paid something in the neighborhood of 10 to 10,500 yen for the appointment. This is an X-ray, urine, blood, measuring height, weight, examination and consultation with an anesthesiologist. By the way, I forgot to say that going to a private clinic is also paid, and I paid in the neighborhood of 2,000 yen. That is, you have to pay for everything, but it is such a small amount, especially compared to Russia and its private centers, that in principle it is all explained quite normally. Anyway, on the appointed day, when I had taken all the tests, I was told that we were preparing for surgery. I told you, then I found out that they wanted to charge me a big bill, but it turned out to be a mistake. By the way, the Japanese doctors themselves told me about it. They asked me to check all the documents, because it seemed to them that there was a mistake and everything could be done much cheaper. So in Japan, very friendly people, and they understand that you are a foreigner and are ready to help you and advise you. It is unlikely, of course, he will walk with you. But to give you an idea and show you a place where they can help you, I was asked to come the day before the operation and go to the ward. Also to do a PCR test on the day for coronavirus when I come in. And that's it, getting ready for surgery. So, the day of the hospitalization. My friend drove me in his car. We said goodbye and I went to check in. Today, I came to the hospital for the hospitalization. Everything is very nice. Took my papers, took my temperature, took a COVID test. It wasn't our results that were announced. They took a COVID test and put this bracelet on my arm. It had my blood type, date of birth, my name. You also had to fill out a questionnaire. On the form, by the way, you can choose whether you want your name on the door or not. I mean, if you want to remain anonymous, you can leave it out. But they ask you to put it in so the nurses don't get confused. They're so funny. Very tactful, very cool, polite treatment all the time. It's so clean and quiet. It's very comfortable to be sick, whatever that sounds like. We fill out a lot of paperwork, just like that. All sorts of forms, translated everything into Russian, everything is good. I was very politely escorted to the ward. The rooms are very comfortable. You can see for yourself further on, I took as many pictures as I could. Very friendly staff. Colossally friendly. They really help the patients, you feel cared for. I don't think I've ever put so much meaning into the phrase feel cared for. Because they really care that you're in pain or uncomfortable. They genuinely want to help. I didn't have a need, but they even went around washing my fork for me so I didn't have to get up. I really like the way the sick are treated in Japanese hospitals. You've seen the show Scrubs. It's exactly the same here. It looks exactly the same. The room is very comfortable, of course. It was the cheapest 4-bed room. There's a lot of them here. There are quadruple rooms, double rooms, and private rooms. The 4-bed is considered private, but you can't hear anyone. It's all curtained off. Nobody talks on the phone. If they watch TV, it's only with headphones, that's the requirement. So it's very comfortable. Lying down is also very comfortable. Because there is a remote control, thanks to which you can adjust the elevation of the backrest and legs. It all depends on your condition, on the operation. You can find a very comfortable position. All this is done very quickly, everything works well. In fact, it is very comfortable. There is also a closet, a refrigerator, there is a safe, there are drawers and a TV. There's a table, there's chargers, the light bulb is individualized. There's actually everything you need, everything at your fingertips. So very, very comfortable rooms. And after that you settle in, you wait. The whole day I was visited by doctors who told me what will happen next, what we will consistently do, what we cannot do, what problems there may be. They even tell me the causes of possible death. Like from anesthesia, or a loose tooth going down your throat. I read 4 pages of text about what I could die from. They actually asked me to read the whole thing. It's actually pretty cool to understand how your treatment is going. They even informed me that if or when I was unconscious, something would threaten my life, they could undress me, tie me up, so I wouldn't hurt myself in that state. So they inform you about literally everything. You know about everything that's going to happen while you can't personally observe it. 5 points for that in general, because I never thought about how my treatment was going. It was very hard to ask other doctors to tell me about it. Here they tell you everything themselves. The next day, when a surgery is scheduled, they tell you the day before, when you should not eat, when you should stop drinking water or something else. They write everything down. And since I am a foreigner, surprisingly, everything was translated into Russian. Through Google Translate they printed out the sheets and brought them to me. They also asked me if the translation was correct, if I understood everything. I also speak a little bit of Japanese. After all, I'm studying at a Japanese language school, and that of course helped a lot, because the translation is not always correct. But mixed with the Japanese language, it was great. The nurses, by the way, don't speak English, so it's hard with that. But you can communicate through a translator in Japanese. But in principle I even had enough of my level of Japanese to understand everything. In difficult situations we used an interpreter. So the day of the operation came. So, today is the day of my surgery in Japan. I've already put on my gown. And now I want to show you what the ward and the corridor look like. Japanese hospital is very comfortable. Here ordinary rooms, or rather ordinary wards, look like hotel rooms. Sometimes even like a suite. That is, everything you need is here. Food, of course, by Japanese standards, so bad. But if you compare it with Russia, the food is tasty and plentiful. I've never complained about the food, everything and everywhere tastes good to me. But I felt that what I don't usually eat, I eat with pleasure here. This is the back room. Everything in its place. In Japan, everything is always in its place. Hospital food. Hospital food is not covered. You pay for it separately. One meal costs 460 yen, which isn't much. But the portions are full. There's a drink or milk or some juice. Plus a full meal. For example, several kinds of salads, vegetables. As a rule, I was given rice and something else. There's quite a lot of meat in portions, half a steak of fish. It's really good. But I can say this. There is hospital food in Russia. I've always eaten it, I don't care, I'm an omnivore. But, of course, it's not a delicacy, and most of the time it's not that tasty. There is hospital food in Japan. It is tastier than the food in Russia in my opinion, but compared to the food in Japan that I eat at home or in cafes or restaurants, of course it is much worse. The Japanese themselves joke about having to get out of the hospital as soon as possible to avoid eating this hospital food. Anyway, it's good. There's a lot of meat in here. The salad, honestly, it's not good at all. It has no flavor. I'm tasting it, no vegetables. But the dairy dessert is really good. It's fruit with some kind of yogurt. But the most delicious thing is the mushroom soup. It's like it's made at home. The food here is excellent. I can say that you should not worry that something may be missing. I ate. I felt satiated. It was very pleasant. I didn't finish my food only if there was a lot of food. So the food is decent. I liked it. It's delicious. Empty rice, but you pour some sauce in here and it gets chunky. It's a fish fillet, no bones in it. I don't know what it is, but it was really good too. And this is a salad. It's very nutritious and appetizing. I thought it was going to be nothing. But it's delicious. There are also stores in the hospital itself. In the store on the first floor you can buy shower gel, toothbrushes, and so on. In the same store you can buy yourself any kind of food. But I didn't do that because I had enough of what I was fed in the hospital. I wanted to taste it. So if you go to the hospital, you have everything you need close by. The prices at a store like this are the same as a regular store, not high. And they have everything you need. You can come in and buy whatever you need right now. I needed almost nothing except for the disposable items I was asked to buy for the surgery. The price was about 100 yen or 80 yen. Very cheap. You can rent clothes at the hospital. For example, pajamas. I was told that I would be laid up for 5 days, so I wanted to rent clothes for the period of time to see what quality they were and how it would be. The first day I applied, they told me that it was already evening, you will be sleeping soon, and tomorrow you have surgery, you don't need clothes in the operating room either. We'll give you a disposable gown. We agreed that I would be given clothes after we were done with the surgery. I'll tell you right away, I didn't end up wearing those clothes because they didn't give them to me. And they didn't give it to me because I was released from the hospital before it arrived. So, thank you to the staff for not selling me those pajamas right away. They're cheap, too. 330 yen a day. That's including towels. In a word, it's a small sum. But I didn't need them, and they told me that. It's great and very nice that they didn't sell me anything I didn't need. So I was either in my own clothes or in my post-op clothes. And I was discharged very quickly. How does the surgery itself go? At the appointed time, a nurse comes to pick me up. You put on your shoes and go with them to the operating room. They check you in before the OR. It's all barcode, which is a delight. They're just very technologically advanced hospitals. I was given a barcoded card, and every time I took a test, a jar or a bag, there was a barcode. So they scanned my card first and then what I was poured or what I gave. Everything is stored in the database. It's very fast. There can't even be a mistake, in my opinion. There can only be a software glitch because everything is scanned right in front of you. It was the same in the operating room. I came in. I had a bracelet on my arm with my last name and barcode on it. They scanned the barcode, checked it against the time. After that they ask you your name, date of birth. Great, it's a match. Next they ask why you are here, what they are going to do to you now. You talk about your problem. I had a metal plate that needed to be removed. They confirm that there is no error and clarify what intervention will be performed. After that they undress you, put on a hospital gown, take you to the operating room, put you on the couch. And once again they ask about the intervention. That is, before administering anesthesia, they ask your name, date of birth, and what we will do. I told again, showed the surgical site. Everything was confirmed to me, after that the anesthesia was administered. Everything was friendly. Actually, I fell asleep and woke up already in the ward. It was very quick, friendly. I realized how attentive they are to everything. In fact, thank them very much for that. Because I don't really worry about these things. But there are some people who get stressed out about this kind of thing. I realize how many different thoughts they can have in their head. And it's great to have a story like this to give you a sense of what's going on. That's the way it is in Japan. Everyone is told what is going to happen next, and at each stage everything is confirmed several times so that no mistakes are made. After that, I woke up in the ward. Next there were healing issues. The surgeon comes in. The nurses periodically inquire about your condition, change the drips if necessary. In fact, what comes next is just healing. There is a button by the bed. You can always call a nurse. The nurses have a pager that tells you who to go to and where to go. They come very quickly. At first they accompany you both to the toilet and wherever you need to go. But I felt fine, so she just walked beside me. It's very easy to bear the after effects. I felt pain, of course, but you can ask them for painkillers. But I figured I could be patient, maybe it would heal that way. And so I spent the night. In the morning, the surgeon asked me how I was feeling. I felt fine. They asked me if I had taken painkillers. I said no, I was patient. They were, of course, very surprised by this. I thought it also made a difference in how quickly I was discharged. I clarified what I was going to be doing, if there would be any other procedures. And I was told that no, you just need to recover. So I said, maybe I'll go home. And I was offered a quick discharge. That's really great. Because you pay less bill, you don't have to pay for hospital food. And what is the point of lying in a hospital room if I can lie at home? You are discharged very quickly, everything is according to your indicators. That is, if you feel well, go home. That's another 5 points because they don't keep you in the hospital for extra days. If you're comfortable, you can go. If you want, you can stay a little longer. It was great. Here I am finished with my treatment at the hospital. Here's the bandaged shoulder. Everything was done very quickly. I paid for everything and now I'm waiting for a cab. I can say that Japanese hospitals are very comfortable. They give medication, sign everything, translate for foreigners. In a word, they're good. If anything, I realized how to apply to Japanese hospitals for different cases, so you can write me in a private message and I will tell you in detail how to do it. At home they gave instructions on how to take the medication. And even signed everything in Russian. Painkillers, stomach medicine, antibiotics. Told me how to drink. They gave me an envelope like this, and there's medicine inside. They give it to you at the hospital. What's the bottom line on all this? Well, it took me about a week. The main thing is to take tests beforehand. I spent about 3 days in the hospital. Today is 2 days after the surgery. I feel good. I can lift my arm. Yes, I have some restrictions. For example, I can't lift heavy things, but I feel like I can even ride a bike. I get bandages, so I have to go to the hospital. I can say that medicine in Japan is of a high standard. It leaves a good impression. It doesn't cost so much money. And the main thing is care, they take care of you. And after that you feel healthy. We'll see how the recovery goes, but I'm sure I'll feel great. In my experience, the first few days are the most difficult. My first days were easy enough, so I will heal well from here on. This is how the treatment in Japan goes. If you have any questions, you can ask me. I will advise you based on what I've been through myself. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If you need anything else, if you have any questions, write me, let's figure it out together. It's great when you can turn to someone and learn something about your questions. I will be very happy to help you.